Hello and welcome to the Blues Report. It is fantastic to have our incredible global community of Chelsea supporters tuned in for another deep dive into the chaos and the glory that is life at Stamford Bridge. We've had a whirlwind start to the Rosenior era, and if today's clash against Brentford showed us anything, it's that being a Blue is never a quiet affair. Grab your coffee or your matchday pint. We've got some serious tactical evolution and warrior mentality talk to get through. The flu crisis, Chelsea's breathed through it victory. Let's talk about the sheer grit on display. Rosenior didn't hold back in his post-match assessment, revealing that a flu virus has been absolutely tearing through the Cobham training ground. It's one thing to hear about a bug, but it's another to realise that several of our boys were out there at the bridge today, literally struggling with their chests, fighting for every breath while trying to maintain a Premier League intensity. Rosenior was visibly moved by the effort, calling it a magnificent effort despite the team looking noticeably sluggish and uncharacteristically poor on the ball. While the gaffer is protecting the players by refusing to name names, we saw the impact. The fluidity we usually expect was replaced by a win at all costs mentality. Brentford is a side that thrives on the slightest scent of weakness. They are, as Rosenior noted, a very good team with an elite understanding of space. Yet, even with a depleted chest-heavy squad, the Blues ground out a 2-0 result thanks to a João Pedro rocket and a signature Cole Palmer penalty. It wasn't champagne football, but it was proper Chelsea in its resilience. The big question: when the squad is back to 100% health, do you think Rosenior's emphasis on winning dirty will remain a core part of our identity, or will we return to the total possession obsession? Maresca versus Rosenior. The tactical handover. Now, let's get into the meat of the discussion. The Maresca versus Rosenior debate. Under Enzo Maresca, we were witnessing a very specific, almost rigid brand of chess ball. Maresca was wedded to his blueprint. Inverted fullbacks, slow burn build-ups, and a process that sometimes felt like it prioritized the system over the individual. Rosenior, however, feels like an evolution, not a revolution. While he shares that Pep-inspired love for possession, his approach feels significantly more human and adaptable. Where Maresca might have stuck to his guns even if the squad was coughing their lungs out, Rosenior openly admitted that the tactics took a back seat today because sometimes you have to win the game in different ways. Verticality. Rosenior seems much more willing to let the wingers go direct rather than constantly recycling through the pivot. The inversion. While Maresca forced Reece James or Malo Gusto into very specific central roles, Rosenior appears to give them options rather than instructions, encouraging them to find the space where they can be most effective. Atmosphere. There's a warmth to Rosenior's leadership. He's inviting the hierarchy into the dressing room and focusing heavily on the basics and attitude, a far cry from the sometimes icy, professor-like demeanour of Maresca. The analysis. A new era of pragmatic pride. My take. We are seeing a Chelsea manager who finally realises that at this club, the shirt carries weight that tactics alone can't support. Rosenior's comments about the attitude of the group and the magnificent effort suggest he is building a culture of accountability. Brentford came to the bridge well organised and hungry, and in previous months, a flu-ridden Chelsea might have crumbled under that pressure. Instead, we saw a team that understood that winning is the only currency that matters at Stamford Bridge. Rosenior is bridging the gap between the high-concept tactical world of Blueco's vision and the basic football that fans demand, winning duels, defending set pieces, and showing heart. What's your verdict, Blues fans? Are you more comfortable with Rosenior's pragmatic win-first approach, or are you still missing the tactical purity that Maresca tried to instill? And more importantly, how much credit are we giving the boys for playing through chest pains to secure those 3 points? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep the conversation going. Blue is the colour. We have some incredible exclusive updates on the young talents being linked with a move to Stamford Bridge, including a potential heist from Barcelona and a major shake-up in our defensive pursuit. Let's dive right into the heart of the action, the Dro bombshell, a la Masia gem. Heading to London? The biggest story breaking today involves Barcelona's crown jewel, Dro Fernandez. In a move that has sent shockwaves through Catalonia, the legendary Fabrizio Romano has confirmed on his X account that the 18-year-old midfield maestro will officially leave Barcelona this month. The decision was made personally by the player and his representatives, signalling a complete breakdown in negotiations with the Spanish giants. Chelsea are reportedly at the front of the queue to trigger his remarkably low €6 million release clause. This situation feels hauntingly similar to the Marc Guiu deal. Chelsea are once again poaching a top-tier Spanish talent right from under Hansi Flick's nose. Dro is widely considered one of the most technically gifted midfielders of his generation, and his arrival would perfectly align with the club's Vision 2030 project. My analysis: this is a low-risk, high-reward masterstroke. For €6 million, you are getting a player who has already tasted first-team football at the highest level. If he develops as expected, his value could easily tenfold in 24 months. The question for you: do you think Dro Fernandes has the physical profile to survive the intensity of the Premier League, or should we loan him back to a European side first? Defensive reinforcements: the rise of Charlie Cresswell. Chelsea's hunt for a commanding presence at the back continues to dominate the headlines. After our ambitious inquiry for Liverpool's Virgil van Dijk was predictably knocked back last year, the recruitment team has pivoted toward a more realistic and statistically impressive target: Toulouse's Charlie Cresswell. The 23-year-old Englishman has been a revelation in League One this season, racking up 17 appearances with 3 goals and an assist, elite numbers for a centre-back. With 26 caps for England's U21s, he brings that homegrown status that is gold in the Premier League. However, it won't be an easy fight. VfL Wolfsburg has already tested the waters with an €18 million bid, which Toulouse swiftly rejected. The French side is holding out for €25 million, a price tag Chelsea could easily meet if they decide to pull the trigger. My opinion: Cresswell is exactly the no-nonsense defender we've missed since the departure of veteran leaders. He is dominant in the air and knows the English system well from his Leeds days. Between him and Bournemouth's Marcos Senesi, Cresswell feels like the more long-term sustainable option. The Branimir Mladic twist, rejecting the Giants. Finally, let's talk about the 18-year-old Croatian sensation Branimir Mladic. Despite Inter Milan having a verbal agreement with Hajduk Split for a fee around €5.5 million, the player himself is reportedly stalling. In a move of incredible maturity, Mladic has appointed super agent Fali Ramadani, who has deep historic ties to Chelsea, to handle his future. Mladic reportedly feels the jump from the Croatian league to Inter is too steep and prefers a stepping stone move. However, with Chelsea's track record of buying elite youth and placing them in high-level loans like Strasbourg, we are now being mentioned as a serious dark horse in this race. He's already made 14 appearances this season and is valued at €4 million, but Hajduk are holding out for closer to €8 million. My analysis: if Ramadani is involved, Chelsea are always in the room. Mladic is a ball-playing defender who reads the game like a veteran. If we can sign him and loan him to a club like Como or Leipzig, we secure one of the best defensive prospects in Europe before his price triples. Closing thoughts and your turn. The Blues are clearly moving away from established superstars and focusing on the next generation of world beaters. From the technical brilliance of Dro to the physical dominance of Cresswell, the squad is being rebuilt with a very specific identity. What do you think, Blues fans? Is €25 million too much for Charlie Cresswell? Or is he the defensive leader we need? Should we prioritise signing Dro Fernandes over more experienced midfield options? And I'll be asking a few questions along the way to see what you think about our chances this weekend. Training ground. Buzz, the return of the Kings. The atmosphere at Cobham on this chilly Friday morning was electric as Liam Rosenior put the squad through their final paces. The headline news that has every Chelsea fan smiling is the sight of Cole Palmer and captain Reece James back in full team training. Palmer has been nursing a tricky thigh issue, while James is bouncing back from a hip knock. Seeing them involve themselves in high-intensity drills suggests they are pushing hard to start against Brentford. The medical room, a viral obstacle. However, it's not all clear skies. The camp is currently battling a frustrating virus that has sidelined Liam Delap and Jamie Gittins. Coach Rosenior confirmed that the club is in containment mode, with several staff members also affected. It's a massive blow for the young duo who were looking to make a statement under the new boss. On a brighter note, we saw the usual heavy hitters like Thiago Silva, Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo looking sharp and ready for the West London derby. Tactical analysis and opinions. My take? Having Palmer back is a total game changer. Without him, we've lacked that magic spark in the final third. But we have to be careful. Rushing Reece James back has bit us before. With the Bees sitting high in 5th place and Chelsea currently 8th, the pressure is immense for Rosenior's first Premier League game in charge. We need defensive solidity just as much as attacking flair. What do you think? If you were Liam Rosenior, would you risk starting both Palmer and James immediately given their lack of match sharpness, or would you bring them off the bench to secure the win late in the game? Defensive reinforcements and tactical drills, while the return of Reece James is the big headline. The training session also highlighted the intense work being done by the centre-back pairing. Thiago Silva was seen providing constant instruction to the younger defenders, emphasising the aggressive without the ball philosophy that Liam Rosenior brought over from Strasbourg. With Levi Colwill still on a long road to recovery from his ACL injury, players like Benoit Badiashile and Trevoh Chalobah are under the microscope. They were pictured working heavily on high-line coordination to prepare for Brentford's dangerous counter-attacks. Midfield engine and creative spark. The energy in the middle of the park was palpable. Moises Caicedo looked refreshed after his suspension, and his partnership with Enzo Fernandez will be vital to dictate the tempo. Noni Madueke and Nicholas Jackson were also involved in sharp 1-2 finishing drills, clearly benefiting from the creative space opened up by Cole Palmer's return to the grass, the last line of defence. There's a lot of talk around the goalpost too. Robert Sanchez was under the watchful eye of Rosenior following a tough outing against Arsenal earlier in the week. Despite the noise, Rosenior seems to be sticking by his number one for now, emphasising trust and reliability in his post-session comments. What's your tactical take? Given that Robert Sanchez had a difficult game midweek and Brentford's Igor Thiago. To our dedicated audience tuning in from around the globe, the air is thick with anticipation at Stamford Bridge, and we're here to break down everything you need to know about today's high-stakes clash against Brentford. The Rosenior era meets the Premier League. This isn't just another match day, it's a defining moment for our new head coach, Liam Rosenior. After a rollercoaster start, a thumping 5-1 FA Cup win, followed by a gut-wrenching 3-2 loss to Arsenal in the Carabao Cup, today marks his official Premier League debut at the Bridge. The mission is clear: break the league winless streak and restore Stamford Bridge as a fortress. But standing in our way is a Brentford side that has been a literal bogey team for us lately. Did you know the Bees have won all 3 of their Premier League visits to our home turf? It's a record that stings every Blue fan, and the question on everyone's lips is, can Rosenior finally find the tactical masterstroke to neutralise Thomas Frank's directness and organisation? Team news: the return of the Kings. The biggest boost for the squad today is the potential return of our talisman, Cole Palmer, and our captain, Reece James. Both were spotted back in training at Cobham this week after missing the midweek Arsenal thriller. Rosenior has been cautious, but Cole Palmer's presence in the final third is the X-factor we've desperately missed. However, it's not all sunshine. A nasty virus has swept through the training ground, leaving Liam Delap and Jamie Gittins as major doubts. We also have to contend with the long-term absence of Levi Colwill and the doping suspension of Mykhailo Mudryk. Opinion: while having James back is a dream, should we risk him starting